291 episodes of Riter Radio. Well, not yet. I mean, this. If you count this as an episode, like if I shut it down right now, would you count that as an episode? I would. I turned on the mic and started talking, so it counts. So this is episode 291 is the point I'm trying to make. We're starting a few minutes later than normal. Strangely enough, because I got up earlier than normal. My plan every day, I know this will sound crazy to those of you who get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever. I don't always sleep until the alarm, but my alarm is typically set for 8:30 is okay, but I prefer 8:45 because 8:45 means everybody's out of the house. And I don't like dealing with the morning part. But today I woke up a little before 7 and got up, started moving around, went upstairs, and it turns out that today is, it's back to school, thankfully, after a week off. I didn't complain too much during that week of vacation, but I was only half on. We went to Toronto in the middle of the week and had a couple sort of pre-recorded shows, so, whatever. But the kids didn't drive me completely insane. 1 week off was not crazy. It was a week plus a day, which turns what could be, a 5-day variation from the norm, I guess is the phrase I'm looking for. But it ends up being you extend it. Now I count the weekends too. Now we're talking 10 days. Just had that one Friday. It's 10 days. And again, it's a dirty trick. They're playing the schools. They don't want them there. They want them here. Even though we had an agreement as a society, I'll make the kids. I'll take care of them until they're like 4.5. And then you got them. Weekdays. That's your thing. They just keep giving them breaks and breaks and breaks. Anyway, they're back to school. But I like to sit out the morning shift through 8:45. I get up at 8:45. Either nobody's home or just my wife is home because she typically works from home. Well, today, I get up at 7 thinking, no big deal. I'll go up, say hi, get something to eat, read some things, maybe catch up on, I don't know, TV stuff that I missed by going to bed early last night. Like, I don't know, I'll do something. But I get up there, I find out it is intramural day at the elementary school. And my fourth grader, it doesn't matter they tell them in advance, usually, like what they're going to be doing this week or whatever at intramurals. I don't know how often they have it. Once a week, 3 times a week. I don't know. I sit it out. But he opts into everything. Is it sports? Can I run around? Yeah, I'm in. Can I throw things, hit people? I'm in. And he told me this morning that he didn't know what the sport was going to be today because he had a week off and he didn't remember. But at some point they're doing basically track and field. He said long jump and high jump, and he hopes that's today. And I cannot imagine getting out of bed and hoping somebody asks me to high jump or long jump. But he's into it. And, he's a psycho baseball player mostly, but then basketball. They had their championship games yesterday. 1 up, 1 down. Of the 3 kids, 2 were in the championship game. And the little guy won his. The big guy lost his. Both good games. But I asked him when he said he was hoping it was high jump and long jump today. I said, what do you hope it isn't? Like, what sports don't you like? Because you never stop talking about football. You're always playing baseball. You're always dribbling a basketball. Like, what don't you like? And he quickly answered hockey and soccer. I don't remember which order it was in. But those are 2 similar games that just don't fit his mindset. And then he immediately, I could tell, he's a compassionate kid. He immediately felt bad for the entire sport of hockey and the entire sport of soccer because he had badmouthed them. And then he kind of walked it back. It's like, well, no, I mean, I'm like, you like all sports. Those just aren't your favorites, right? He's like, well, yeah. I mean, I'll play those too, but I like the other ones better. All right, man. So anyway, I had to take him to school. He had to be there at 7:45. So I drop him off. That one was easy. Quick little loop through at the elementary school, no problem. Come home to discover that, then I came downstairs. I was kind of prepared. I got a bunch of stuff written down. Look at all the stuff I wrote. Look at that. Use a regular notepad today. I'm out of toner for my printer and haven't replaced it, so I don't have my fancy show sheets. But things have been so weird being in and out of doing the show lately anyway, in part because of vacation, in part because of the GR stuff, that I'll get to recreating the sheets anyway. I need to know if I need to make GR sheets or Riter Radio sheets. They're very similar, but the clocks are different. And so I don't feel an overwhelming desire, to print new sheets. So I'm just using the regular legal pad on a clipboard, going old school here. But I was just sitting, writing down all this stuff, and then I'm hearing the unmistakable sound of vomiting coming from somewhere in the house. And I don't know, who are you rooting for at that point? I mean, I know it's not me. I know it's not Drew because he's gone. So it's either a sixth grader vomiting, an eighth grader vomiting, or my wife vomiting. And it had to be one of them. And I know we're in this tumultuous weather times where the barometric pressure is fluctuating, the temperature is fluctuating, the precipitation is fluctuating, and everyone in the house gets migraines except me. So it's somebody. And it turns out to be my wife today. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. But that also means, and it was raining. And the kids walked to middle school. Nate did it, no problem. But suddenly at like 8:40, I get a text from my wife from upstairs. Can you help Zach move along? I'm sick. So I said, okay. And then I went upstairs, and it's like misting outside, and it's maybe a 5-minute walk to the middle school. And this kid, who refuses to take a bus, decides he needs a ride. And Mom usually drives me, and that's why I'm running late, because it was raining, and I knew Mom would drive me. So I ended up having to drive him. And as I'm sitting in this horrific traffic loop, because apparently a lot of middle school kids are too cool for the bus, I'm like, at any point here, if I let you out, you get to school faster. I'm waiting in line behind buses, and I'm trying to turn left into the school, a bunch of people trying to turn right into the school, and you have to loop around, and there's a whole system in place. Just get out of my car, man. If you decide you can't take a bus because you like walking, then you walk. And I get it if it's ridiculous weather, but it was not ridiculous weather. Anyway, long story short, I get up at 7 o'clock, which is an hour and 45 minutes earlier than normal. Well, by the time we get back to 9:15, I should be, if not sitting in this chair ready to do a show, I should be sitting over there, writing things down, watching something, reading something, texting with somebody, calling somebody, looking on something on my phone, something. I should be doing something. And my eyes won't stay open because I messed up my own clock. So somewhere around, and I have another alarm that goes off, and you've probably heard it because I sometimes forget to shut the thing off. It's my son playing Damn That River by Alice in Chains on guitar that he sent me months ago, and I just saved it, and it's my alarm. But it's not an alarm. It's a, hey, don't forget the show starts. It goes off at 9:45 every day. Well, now it's 9:38, and I'm like, how am I going to get to noon if I can't keep my eyes open now? So I went back to sleep for 20 minutes. I had to bump the alarm. I bumped it back to 9:52 or something. And then I hit snooze on it once. And then it was 10:01 before I was like, all right, I guess I'll do the show. And then I started playing the music. And then you look, and it's already 10:20. And it's time to start. So that's what's going on. That's why the show started late. Nothing crazy. We had a very active day of sports yesterday. And then we'll have another one today. So on the agenda today is, let's see, first outdoor house baseball practice. We'll see about that. If the weather cooperates, which I haven't looked outside in, an hour and a half, but it was raining pretty good at 7:45. It had let up, but the sky was completely gray at 8:45. Plus the diamond is like half an hour from here, 25 minutes from here. So maybe the weather's better where we're going. So we've got 5:45 to 6:45 outdoor practice for little guy. 7 to 9 indoor practice for middle guy. Sabres are back in action. Second to last game of the season. 8:30 p.m. at Chicago. That's not bad. That actually works out pretty well. I don't mind missing the first period. And then I'll be back in time for the second and the third. Only 2 games left. And the standings look good. It's tight. But first place in the division is still completely reasonable. I mean, win your 2 games, you got it. They're at Chicago tonight. They're home against Dallas on Wednesday, and that's it. The 2 teams that they're dealing with, of course, I don't have the standings open on the page. Why not? NHL standings. There we go. Like the last month, I opened the show with the standings on the page, and I just didn't have them up. I have them on the other computer over there, but that doesn't mean no good. For looking at the wild card situation, right now, it's going to be tough to catch Carolina, but if you win both and Carolina loses both, you'd get them. Right? We're going regulation wins as the tiebreaker, and that would put the Sabres way ahead of them. But right now, they're 4 points back with 2 games to go for each team. So it seems unlikely Carolina earns any point. The Sabres cannot win the conference. But that's all right. Win the division. Play your first 2 rounds at home. And go from there. Right now, tied with Montreal. But Montreal has played an extra game. Canadians have only 1 game left. See, I should have done magic number. Should I try to do magic number on the fly? Yeah, all right. You know what's good? Listening to me talk and do math at the same time. It's always super productive and excellent radio content. All right. Sabres, if they win their 2 games, if they get their 4 points, they're good. The Canadians could get 2. Canadians max out at 108. Lightning max out at 108. Oh, it's easy. 3. Magic number is 3. To win the division, the magic number is 3 points. So as long as you don't come away empty-handed tonight in Chicago, can't lose in regulation. As long as you don't come away empty-handed, you are still alive to win the division. Sabres at 106, Montreal at 106, Tampa at 104, but Montreal only has 1 game left. The other teams have 2 games left. Okay. Montreal plays tomorrow, and that's their final game. So you can't clinch the division tonight. But you could if the Sabres win tonight and the Lightning lose to Detroit, who has been eliminated from the playoffs, but yeah, you never know. Hot goaltender, somebody trying to make a statement, shake up in the lineup, who knows? Detroit's out. They'd been in the hunt for a playoff spot, but they're now 1 point back of being alive. Columbus is still alive at 92. Detroit not alive at 91. So if the Sabres win in regulation and the Lightning lose at all, you've got them. Sabres get to 108. Lightning get to 105 if they lose in overtime and stay at 104 so that you can eliminate the Lightning tonight and then cut the magic number to 1 with a game left between the Sabres and the Canadians, meaning anything that goes Buffalo's way takes care of business. And it's 1 with a caveat that the tiebreaker goes to Buffalo too. So can you clinch? Hold on. Yeah, you can clinch tonight now that I'm looking at it. People might be in the thing chatting and telling, yep, there it is. Okay. But like I said, I was doing this live on the air. I'm doing the math live. This is actually an act of brilliance. You could be like, oh, Brad doesn't know what he's talking about. No, Brad's figuring it out in real time with no paper, no computer. Well, I've got a screen, but I'm not doing any calculations. I'm just looking. All right. To get rid of Tampa, Sabres get 2 points tonight. Tampa gets 0 or 1. Tampa's gone. And then you're at 108, and Montreal can't catch you. So the magic number is, in fact, 2. Clinch the division with a win tonight. Oh, how about that? See, I didn't listen to any radio this morning or anything either. And I apologize to Mike Sengbush, who just said we can clinch tonight. Yeah, you're right. Got it. But this is me. This is real time. I don't have to do all the math. I can do the math here. Do the math on our time instead of on my time. I was tired. Well, that's exciting, huh? I mean, I know I just sounded stupid to anybody who's been listening to GR all morning, and that's all they were talking about. Oh, my God, the Sabres can clinch. But it took me until just now to realize that. Well, that's cool. And then the Carolina thing, they're still catchable. I haven't looked at their schedule. They've got 2 games left. You need everything to go your way with that because you need to be tied with them, and then you win on the tiebreaker. Their schedule includes the Flyers tonight, and finally the Islanders on tomorrow night. Okay, so you can't be eliminated from the division tonight, and you can clinch the division tonight. And there's a chance you could, if Philly and New York, 2 road games for Carolina, if Philly and New York can both step up and win in regulation today, tomorrow, then you'd need a point. No, you'd need a win, regulation or otherwise, on Wednesday to take first place in the conference. So everything's still on the table. Here we are. Let's get the division tonight. Well, that sounds fun. I was reading a thing about awards, like NHL awards. The only one where the Sabres are really in contention, according to this, it's like an ESPN thing, but it's a survey of a bunch of, I don't know if it's media members. I think probably media members. And they've been kind of monitoring, like, what are people thinking? What are people thinking? Hart Trophy, Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon are kind of the top 3, but there's a Celebrini part of it too. He's a possibility. Norris are saying Zach Werenski from Columbus. Dahlin is mentioned in that conversation, but he's like 6th. Like, they put who's probable, and then other 2 finalists, and then other people in the conversation. And Dahlin's in the conversation. It's okay. Not looking for awards this year. Looking for playoffs. Got it. Looking for division, maybe conference. How about cup? That sounds cool. They give you one giant award for your team, and then you don't have to think about the other ones. Although the Jack Adams is the one that's going to be in the conversation more than anything else. It seems to be pretty evenly divided between Lindy Ruff and John Cooper in Tampa. Although there's some conversation about Dan Muse of the Penguins working some sort of magic and getting them into the playoffs too. But it seems like it's neck and neck between Cooper and Ruff. And then some of the quotes were very heavily toward Lindy Ruff, saying, like, how on earth could you not look at that situation and end the drought, and none of the players are going to be in the conversation for any trophies? Because, like, if John Cooper's the best coach, but he's the best coach in part because you've got the best goaltender and the MVP, like, are you also the best coach? Or is it better when you don't have people? So there's that. But then there's the Cooper part of it where he's never won it before. And Lindy Ruff has won it a lifetime ago. But that's sort of what the conversation was about. So looks like a strong chance of Lindy Ruff as Jack Adams. But the other stuff doesn't seem to be really. The Sabres don't really seem to be in the conversation for any of the other stuff. It is Monday, which means Scott Wilson will join me. That happens at 11 o'clock. Little side thing. I figured out, so just the way my neighborhood is set up, we always go I live on a long side street. And to go to the school, my natural inclination, to go to the elementary school, my natural inclination is to head north and then make a left. But making a left in the morning especially can be pretty difficult because there's like a major intersection to the right, and the traffic, you can just get stuck. You can be stuck there for 4.5 minutes just trying to make a left. So my wife heads in that direction, but then winds through to one of the other streets where there's a light so she can make a left there. I decided, and I can't believe I haven't done this more often. I think it's crossed my mind before, but it's absolutely the right plan. If I just go the other way, I make nothing but right turns. I make a right off of my street. I make another right. I make a right. I make a right into the school. I make a right out of the school. I make a right onto my street. I'm back in my driveway. Why have I not been doing that the whole time? So I was educating my 9-year-old on driving, and I think it took. He's a good listener. It's nice to have one of those in the house where you say stuff and he pays attention, and then it comes back later. He's like, oh, yeah, you told me about this. So this morning, part of my education, part of my not my education, but my son's education, while taking him to school to further his physical education, was to sharpen his brain and get him ready to drive in 7+ years. I'm letting him know that making a right is always better than making a left. And it's not just because my name is Riter. The right turns are better than the left turns. And it's fun to explain stuff. That's what's cool about having kids. Like very simple concepts that you just inherently know because you're 51. They actually sound pretty profound. Coming out like, well, if you make a right-hand turn, you never have to worry about crossing traffic. And therefore, you never get stuck. Unless traffic is totally backed up, you don't get stuck if you're trying to make a right turn. So I feel like I did something today. As a father, that's what I have provided. Aside from a bunch of rides, and aside from the fact that at some point today, so I've talked about this. Nate, middle guy, he won the NCAA pool. And it's amazing to think about, like, what would you have done at age 11 if somebody handed you $381? Like, I probably would have had a plan for 100 of it or something. And then the rest would be like, I don't know. And just, I think so much about what set of baseball cards I'm going to buy or a box of wax packs. I never did that. I always dreamed of like a whole box of wax packs. And looking back, what was it? $25, $20, $15? I don't even know. Now it's ridiculous, and I would never dream of it. But as a kid, all I wanted were baseball cards. And I think that's where my mind would have gone. His immediately went to a new baseball bat for the travel season. So for the second time in a week and a half, I'll be heading to the sporting goods store to purchase a bat that he hits fine. I swear to you, he hits just fine. And you still have to put the same swing on it. But he won it. Fair and square. It's his choice. So I'm going to let him. We're going to bite the bullet and buy a truly expensive bat for the first time. We've bought, it started off with, all right, it's T-ball. Your bat can be $15. It doesn't matter. And then eventually it's like a $100-ish bat makes sense. And then it was like, I need what was the super popular one? Oh, the axe. I needed an axe bat. That was super popular for a while. I had the different handle. I thought that was cool. I liked it. But even that, I'm like, let's get last year's axe bat used. And we can get it for $80 instead of $200 or whatever it was. Well, now that the days of $200 bats are kind of even gone as the kids get older. So this is a 500 marked down to 300, but yeah, $381, and he's going to use 75% of it on a baseball bat, despite the fact that he's got a bat that works just fine. And this is not even a bat he can use during the regular season. He can use it in tournaments, or maybe he can. I'm sorry. Yeah, he can use it in the regular season. He can't use it in house baseball. That's what it is. So we'll keep the old one. We don't have to discard that or sell it or save it for when the youngest kid grows into it. There's at least some semblance of it makes some sense. And then eventually Drew will grow into that one. So fine. He won it. But my God, he comes to me yesterday. This is after we're at basketball all day. We had a 10 o'clock game, 10 o'clock playoff game, a 1 o'clock playoff game, season-ending banquet after that. And then we get home, and I'm exhausted, and I just want to go to sleep. And I try to, but I just keep getting texts and emails, and it just wouldn't stop. And I can't stop talking to people. So eventually, I'm, about to fall asleep. And he comes down the stairs like, hey, can we go get that bat? I was like, now? No, he does have practice today. So I don't mind. I'm like, you want it for tomorrow? I understand. You just won the thing. The money just came through. Okay. But he asked me at 7:03, 3 minutes after the store is closed. So I'm trying to buy it online, but I'm trying to use the 20% off coupon that we have, and I'm trying to apply his gift card. It's just insane to try to do all of that online. I know it's not going to work. I know I'm not going to find the place to put the code in. I know it. So I'm like, how about this? Forget about it for now. When you get home from school, you'll have your new bat. So I've got all the details written down, and the first thing I do after I leave here, or after I'm done with the show, I might even go get the bat before I no, I got it. I know what I'll do. I'll finish the show, and then I'll start processing the show. And then there's a point where you have to render the video, and it takes 45 minutes. That's when I'll leave, and I'll go get him his stupid bat, and then I'll bring it home. And then as soon as he's home, it'll be time for us to start moving around for baseball again. So that's my life. But eventually I will sit down and watch the Sabres potentially clinch the Atlantic Division in the same year that they broke the playoff drought. So that is exciting. It's fun. All right. Let's go through the chat real quick. My clipboard is blocking the screen. Okay. Brad, do you listen to Arbo's podcast? I have not heard Arbo's podcast. Send me a link to Arbo's podcast. I'll listen to Arbo's podcast. Arbo equals Niagara Grit. Sure. Nick says hi. Couple good mornings in there. Coach, are you gritty or soft? Maybe one of those things from Stranger Things is in the house. I'm gritty. Gotta be gritty growing up in arcade. Morning, everyone. Nothing. We can clinch tonight, right? Magic number 3. I have dropped it to 2. We still need Tampa to lose a point. Yeah, that's right. To clinch tonight. All right, so the number is 3. But we'll be all right. Let's clinch the East. I don't believe we can catch Carolina. We can. We've determined that. If Carolina loses both and we win both, we pass Carolina. Good call. Regulation wins, not wins. What kind of bet? Yeah, it's a U-trip bet. We go from, he's now 11 U for travel, which allows for U-trip bets. They had a couple of tournaments where U-trip bets were allowed last year. And I got to say, from a marketing standpoint, good job by Dick's House of Sport, because I am notoriously, I'm going to say frugal, some might say cheap. But we had one trip there and played around in the batting simulator thing, and within 2 weeks, we bought 2 brand new bats here. And that's just not something we do. But you got me, Dix. You got me. So I'll be there again today. And it stinks to go without him, because I think they'd let him go use the simulator for free if he's actually trying out a bat. You can rent it out like we did with Drew's team and had it for 2 hours or whatever. But also, if you're actually looking for a bat, you can just go in and use it. They've got a guy just ready. And you can go wherever you want. For example, the kids used Williamsport so they could hit home runs. It was awesome. But, hey, it's free. The team's paying for it. No, granted, we paid for that and raised funds and all that. It feels free until the next day when I'm back in there buying a bat. And then today again when I'm back in there buying a bat. We were there on a Friday, and within 10 days, our household has spent $500 on bats, which is crazy. But it's what we do, man. What am I supposed to do? My kid have a crap bat? Can't have him hitting mere triples. All right. Here's the other thing I wrote down that I forgot to talk about. In driving, so I did the smart thing where I made all right-hand turns, but the final right-hand turn back onto my street, I was right behind a school bus. I'm trying to figure out what bus it would be, because it was maybe it's elementary. Is elementary the earliest? I'm still not 100% sure. I had to ask my oldest today, what time does school start, and what time do you normally leave, and why didn't you walk, and why am I driving you, and this is why I sleep through all of this every day. And I remember school getting earlier as I got older. Like elementary school started at a time, and then, oh no, we got to get up earlier to go to junior high. And then, oh no, we have to, I remember going out for the bus at 7. I don't know if that's right, but that's what's in my head by the time I was in high school. And now it's reversed. Drew leaves the house, his bus picks him up at 8:25 or something. And then the other guys leave at 8:35 or something, typically, and they walk to school. Well, it's in reverse. Anyway, drove the loop, turned on the street, and now there's a school bus in front of me. I'm like, this sucks. I'm almost home. But it's still, the street's pretty long, and I'm going to have to sit behind this guy as he picks up everybody. And he immediately pulls over, as buses do, and the flashing lights come on. But it never switches to red. It's just yellow. It's just caution. And I absolutely feel like that, in the moment, is a sting operation. That they're going to try to they're trying to trick me, con me, into going around the bus, passing the bus, and all they're doing is they're going to take my license plate, and then I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life for passing a bus. And I don't want that. So I wait, I give it 10 seconds. And it's just flashing. I'm looking. There's no kids. There's no nothing. The only 2 vehicles on the street at this point are me and the bus that's right in front of me. So I slowly work my way around the bus and pass it. And the whole time I'm looking at the driver as I'm driving past it because I feel like it's a trap. We know not to pass the bus. It says, don't pass bus. It might say when flashing red, but yellow leads to red. Like you have yellow on, and then as soon as I'm next to you, you're going to trick me. I don't want to get fooled like a Waymo. A month or so ago, we were watching videos of Waymos in Texas just getting tricked by school buses. Or just disregarding them or what. But I'm trying to be a conscientious neighbor, driver, parent, citizen, all of those things. I'm trying. But it feels like a trick and a trap when they hit me with the flashing yellow and it never goes to red. One thing I was going to do on the show today, but we didn't quite get around to, I've been going through movies with Zach, my oldest. He typically wants nothing to do with his parents. He likes to hang out in his room and play guitar, and if his friends are around, he goes to their houses and plays guitar and plays drums and whatever. But like one night a weekend, his buddy that he's always playing music with is not home because he goes with his dad somewhere or whatever. And I can always tell because he's just kind of moping around. But we simultaneously walked toward each other the other night as we both realized it was that kind of night and said, hey, movie? And we've been doing this thing, and I've been thinking about it. Like, it would make a very good podcast. And depending on what happens with the WGR thing, I'm not on this week. I was told to expect to be on next week. Tim Graham's doing the show solo this week, 1 to 3. So I'll tune into that if I'm awake or while I'm driving around buying baseball bats. I'll check that out. Oh my God, I just thought of a story that I haven't told yet that I should tell at some point. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, if I end up doing a show every day on the radio, I'm not going to do this show every day too. But I still have the setup. I still have the lights. I still have the audio equipment. I still have a lot of ideas. So I'm thinking it more would become like a podcast type of thing, like a pre-recorded once a week type, twice a week. I don't know. But one of my ideas is just going through movies with my son because I've shown him a lot of like the classics, we'll call it, but classics to me. Stuff from the 80s and the 90s that like I consider a favorite. Stuff I have on DVD. Stuff I needed to own. Stuff that's on the wall because of Swingers is on the wall. We haven't done Swingers yet. But instead of just random, we'll pick one here, we'll do this comedy, then we'll do this horror film, and we'll do this suspense thing, and we'll do this legal drama. I'm kind of trying to follow a chain. And it started with Silence of the Lambs. I decided to do Silence of the Lambs with Zach. And then watch it, and then find out what he likes or dislikes about it. And, how much that... And every time I watch a movie, I think of 5 other movies that I can, connect to that one in some way. And that I could suggest for the next one. So here's the last 4 movies we've watched. And I'm thinking... I almost did this last night. But I was in the middle of something for freaking baseball, so I couldn't stop. I thought of recording with him about the last 4 movies he's watched because they've been connected. We watched The Silence of the Lambs, and he had never seen anything like that before. And then we talked about what he liked, and then the next one that I recommended was The Game, which is Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, David Fincher. It's great. That was done, and now I'm like, well... You like David Fincher. You like the directing. David Fincher is the guy who, if you don't know him, he got his start in music videos, but he did. Picture the video for Closer by 9 Inch Nails. Like that grainy, kind of 8mm industrial vibe. Well, that's what Seven is as a movie. So I watched with my 13-year-old son, we watched the movie Seven. We do this in the basement to avoid the other children and my wife. I told him, I'm like, you've watched some things that are dark. Seven is dark. Like the overall vibe, like the lighting, it's a dark colored movie, but it's as gross as, it's not Human Centipede, but it's gross like in a real way. It's the most, realistic. I don't know. That's probably the right word. It's like, this could happen, and this is crazy, and this guy's a psycho, and everything about it. He loved it. He absolutely loved it. And then he sent me a text last night because as that ended, I started talking about what was next. And the obvious next movie after Seven to me was Fight Club. And he watched that on his own and texted me and said it was the best of the four best of the ones he's seen so far. So this is the track we're going on. And if I had time last night, I would have had him come on. Maybe we can do it today for tomorrow. But a review of his last four movies he's seen, which are The Silence of the Lambs, The Game, Seven, and Fight Club. Now, that's a fun conversation. If he's in the mood. He's a moody kid. Sometimes he's talkative, sometimes he's not. If I get him in the right mood, doing like 15 minutes with him about those four movies will be pretty fun. I think we'll enjoy it. I know that I can pass a yellow light. I'm saying that yellow often turns into red, and it feels like a trap. It feels like a trick. It feels like they're trying to throw me in prison. Part of this is because I watched the game recently, too, and now I think everybody's out to get me, and they're probably not. People aren't really thinking about you at all. I have to take a break because Scott Wilson's going to join me in a few minutes. I don't have a song planned. There's a good one. All right, we'll start with that. Couple songs, and then Scott joins me as we continue with Riter Radio, episode 291 on a Monday. It's April 13th, and the Sabres can clinch the division tonight. Yo.
Let's check in with Riter Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
Well, there we go. Riter Radio, episode 291. We haven't spoken with Scott Wilson in 3 days. So let's check in, see what's going on. A lot happened over the weekend, though. There's always stuff, man. There's so much stuff. The Masters happens. Basketball's wrapped up. Hockey's wrapping up. NFL draft is coming up. Our little basketball league wrapped up. Baseball starts sort of today. I don't know what's going on in your world, man, but I'm kind of overwhelmed at this point with all the sports in my face.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. It was definitely a good weekend. NBA playoffs are set now. Yeah, I still don't like that they're doing the stupid play-in thing, but well,
it kind of invalidates the regular season, which
right.
I don't like. I wasn't sure
There's
how
already
I felt about
20 games too many in that season.
Sure.
So, now just making it even less devalued, plus you put on top of it the fact that they can't figure out how to make teams stop tanking.
Right. And load management is another part of it, and all of it. Yeah, there's some problems in the league.
Yeah. But now we're in the playoffs, so the rest of that stuff kind of gets tossed aside because this is the part that actually works.
Right. Yeah, this part's good.
So this is the good part. In my house, I'm with big Knicks fans. Everybody but me is a Knicks fan. So
do you have a team?
They gotta. Yeah, I'm with the Sixers.
Oh yeah,
I'm riding with the Sixers. All right. As usual, something always goes wrong at the last minute here. So Embiid had to have an appendectomy last week. Not really sure how that's going to translate here into the playoffs, and I'm assuming badly.
Yeah, usually.
If Embiid is there with Maxey, with Edgecombe, like with the
team they've attempted to assemble,
yeah, they can really put a scare into teams. I think they can really play with a lot of teams and really force teams to the brink. I don't think it's necessarily a team that could go to the championship, but they could really put the fear of God into some teams and really cause some problems. Without Embiid, I don't think that they have, they can cause problems. Maxey is still terrific. It's just the added element of the big man is something that they really need and are more often than not lacking because he's not healthy
ever.
But yeah, big Knicks house overall, and they looked like for the last month we're going to be lined up against Toronto, a team that they have dominated and smacked all year. And then at the last second, Toronto wins a couple games here down the stretch. They end up with Atlanta, who I believe they've won 2 out of 3 with this year, but they've all been very close games. They've all been, nail biters. So, by no means is this an easy road here for New York, who I think for the first time, maybe since Ewing was there, has real playoff pressure on them. I mean, last year, I think people thought that they could do some damage and make a run. I don't think anybody thought that they were better than Boston. So while they wanted them to win that series, I don't think anybody thought that they were going to. And then the injury happens, and then it's like, oh, they win, and oh my God, wow, it's a much easier matchup against Indiana, and then they lose that because it wasn't an easier matchup at all.
Right.
But this really the first year, they fire the coach that gets into the conference finals for the first time in 3 years in Thibodeau. They bring in new guys. They've stuck it out. They've made some moves, and with the injury to Tatum for most of the season, the injury problems in Indiana that they had with Halliburton going down in the finals, this really felt like the year. This has to be the year. So all the pressure is going to be mounted on the Knicks for the first time in a long time. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that, how they respond to that, because I would feel better if it was Thibodeau. He's just kind of more of a hard-nosed dude that would lean into that and get them a couple of rounds in, but they don't have that, and they've kind of stumbled through this year where, again, everyone thought like, all right, the pathway has opened, the runway has opened for the Knicks in this year with all the injuries. Well, the Celtics played most of the year without Tatum, and they finished ahead of them in the standings anyway. And plus they got rid of Porzingis. This was supposed to be a year where the Celtics were going to be garbage, and instead they're the 2 seed, and got Tatum back early.
Right.
So, and the Pistons have been great. As long as Cunningham is healthy and can play, I think they're going to be very dangerous. They were just a team too young last year, but it's not as open as it has been, and there's going to be a lot of pressure in New York.
Who do you think is going to go first overall in the draft tonight? WNBA. It's a joke. It was a joke. It's a WNBA draft.
God, you had me scrambling, trying to figure out what league you're talking about.
I know. That's why I just called it the draft.
Okay.
No, as I'm scrolling through NBA stuff, I see the draft day is here, 7 p.m. I'm like, no, it's not. And then there's some UConn lady. They're like, oh, that draft. Never mind. Their first pick goes to a team with wings. I don't know who that is. The next one goes to somebody else. The logos are very small. I don't know what it is. NBA they have a WNBA mock draft. Let's see. I'm going to take a look. Dallas Wings are likely to take Ozzie Fudd.
Yeah.
From UConn.
Okay. I've heard of her.
You have? I haven't. Olivia Miles, TCU point guard to the Minnesota. All right, I'm going to give you the name of the city. You're going to tell me the name of the franchise. Ready? WNBA pop
So
quiz.
you're going to give me the mascot?
I'll give you.
Or you're
I'm giving you the city,
and I have to give
You're telling me the thing, and I just said one or two of them. Dallas.
Okay, I think they're the Wings.
I never
right?
would have gotten that. Yeah, that's right. I just said it though.
Okay.
2 is Minnesota.
Ooh, Lynx?
Yep. Nailed it.
Okay.
Seattle.
Yeah. Oh no. The Seattle Rain.
Close. Rain what? There's a big rain what coming?
Storm. They're the Seattle Storm.
Seattle Storm is correct.
Yep.
All right. Picking 4th, Washington.
Oh man, they are the Daughters of the Revolutionary War.
Close.
Washington. Betsy Ross.
No, it goes with Wizards, sort of.
Okay.
I could see this as an offshoot of Wizards.
Witches.
Mystics. Washington Mystics.
Yeah, no, I would have never gotten there. Okay.
We're going to interrupt this to ask you how many teams are in the WNBA? How many picks are in the first round of the WNBA?
I think there's 12 teams in the WNBA.
Well, I see 15 picks in the round, so I assume there are 15, but two of them are repeated, so it could be. I get 15. All right, Chicago.
That's the Chicago. The Chicago Stars.
Close. What's right next to the top floor?
Lakers?
The top floor of the Sears Tower. What's right next to that?
The Lightning Rods.
But also just above it.
Sky.
Chicago Sky.
Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Toronto has a new team coming in next year, I believe, because they're drafting this year. No, it's not related to the Raptors.
Triceratops.
No, you could think
Mounties.
they might, in theory, if they play to their name, they're going to move quite quickly, as a college football team might do when they put in a certain package, an offensive package. Suddenly they're going to go.
Hurry up.
Okay, but it sounds more like Toronto.
It's Toronto.
Paul Pack will use this constantly. All right, they're going to go blank here. Look how quickly they're moving.
Turbo.
They've upped the. Oh, so close. They've upped the
Tempo.
The Toronto Tempo is maybe the worst team name I've ever heard of.
Terrible.
And their first
That's
pick,
a terrible
projected
name.
first pick would be Flo J. Johnson. Flauge.
Flauge.
That's awful. That's an awful name. Flauge.
She's also a recording artist. She's
Toronto-
actually a fairly successful recording artist.
Well, cool. She
Okay.
can do something with The Weeknd and Drake. Portland.
Portland Evergreens.
No, I think this one is based off of like the riots that were happening in Portland for a while. What was every building was on fire? The Portland Fire, a tribute to the a tribute to the rallies in Portland. All right, this is a good one. Golden State.
Sound.
There's no chance you. I'll tell you what it starts with, and there's no chance you'll get it. It's V, and don't.
Vegans. Vulcans.
Better than I thought you would do. Valkyries. The Golden State Valkyries. Yeah.
Okay.
They're looking at Iana Martin from Spain. Washington picks 9th. Indiana. That one we know.
Fever.
Indiana Fever. Good. Mystics pick again. Connecticut.
Sun.
But they're moving, I think. I think I saw something about the Sun going somewhere else. But right now they're still the Connecticut Sun. That's right. Atlanta. Named after the most famous basketball team of 1992.
Globetrotters.
Second. They'd be second. The most famous, maybe the most famous basketball team ever assembled other than the Globetrotters.
Dream. The Atlanta Dream.
The Atlanta Dream. That's good. Seattle Storm again. Connecticut Sun again. So I heard a bunch of repeats there. Hold on. Let me scroll through the second round real quick. Los Angeles.
Sparks.
Good. Phoenix.
Oh, Lord. Sunsets.
No. It's
Phoenix. Cacti.
Mercury.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And then I think the only one we've got left here is Las Vegas.
Aces.
Aces. All right. You did great.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. That is good. Yeah. Why don't some of these? I don't know. Why isn't? All right. Let's move on. I'm gonna get canceled.
Yeah. Well, you did. I think you did a great job.
They need more like. Why aren't there more ferocious choices? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Like, you think Dream sucks as a team name? Dream Fever?
Yeah, it should be
Sun?
the Atlanta Angry Wives. You know what I mean? And just like the mascot makes itself.
How about Seattle Red Storm?
How about like
No, let's not. Let's just keep
Dallas,
No.
what do you want for dinners? You know what I mean? Like there's
But
there's things that you can go to. I don't need to go to Dream and
you're right.
Sky.
Or how about
Sky is as big a cop out for a team name.
It's
as
a
it
non-name. It's a non-name.
could be. Right.
Sun even sucks. I'm okay with Suns in Phoenix, but Sun by itself sucks. It's like you took all the worst things. You made it real short. You made it singular. You stole it and made it worse. I don't like it.
And then put it in Connecticut.
And then, right.
I mean, I guess
Mohegan Sun.
I guess the way, yeah, because it's Mohegan Sun, which is where they play, and like that's that whole thing. But oh, you know, we didn't do New York Liberty. You didn't say New York Liberty in there either.
They didn't have a pick in the first two rounds. There they are. Oh, I guess I'll scroll through the third round then too. 3 rounds.
That at least makes sense.
What, 3 rounds of WNBA basketball draft? That makes no sense at all. Let's see if there's anything else.
Yeah, most of these players never play.
No.
They don't even make the team.
Right. That
We've
happens in
known
the NBA draft too. The second round of the NBA draft is like probably not.
Right.
But yeah, New York Liberty is the only other one that's on here. I didn't bring up the standings or anything, but just scrolling through the draft. I just wanted to give you a draft. It's tonight, and we would be remiss if we didn't preview the WNBA draft.
Got to be on top of it. Got to be on top.
Guessing the names of the thing. All right.
Flauger's a good player.
Sure.
So is Azzy Fudd. Those are the two really good players.
You know how tall Lauren Betts is? They have a 6'7" center at UCLA.
Oh yeah.
It's a monster.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's how they won the championship
All right.
days ago.
Okay. I didn't see that. There's another 5'11". Never mind. Oh, there's another 6'6" from South Carolina. Medina.
Yeah, that's how they ended up in the championship game against UCLA.
Okay.
If you can find someone above 6'4", you're playing with fire, man. You're getting there.
Wow.
You're gonna be causing some problems.
All right. Good enough. All right. This concludes our WNBA draft coverage. What's next, Scott? Did you watch the Masters?
I did watch the Masters. It was a great weekend. Perfect weather for it, and big names and some lesser known names all kind of in the mix there at the top. Looked like after round 2, Rory was going to run away with it, but the course toughened up and gave a real challenge and fought back against some of those top guys to keep it tight. And it was a really, really exciting final round. Again, I think that's the best course in the world. I think that's the right setup for any course in the world. You know, I love watching the U.S. Opens because they are so tough. It really does, you know, it makes it impossible. It makes these pros look, you know, like average people because they make it so hard. But really for the entertainment value, what you want is a guy, you know, you want the leaders to be from -7 to -12, where over 4 rounds you can make some plays, but if you mess up, you're going to be punished. And you know, it was a perfect setup all weekend. You know, Scheffler wasn't in that final group, but really, a quarter inch to the right on Scheffler's birdie putt on 17, and man, that drive from Rory off of 18. Is real big, real big. So, you know, it's fun to look back and watch that and realize that it's a, you know, an eighth of an inch away from going to a playoff. That's the difference in that type of matchup. And, you know, yeah, Justin Rose, who's kind of taken over the Sergio Garcia / Rory McIlroy mantle of,
or
this
even
guy's
Phil
been in the
going
top
back
5 every freaking year.
Yeah.
You know,
and that was Phil when I was first watching.
How close is he going to get? Right, yeah. And Phil Mickelson, he's kind of taken over that mantle once again, getting very close, having the lead heading for his round. He's the leader heading to the back 9.
How would you be
not being able to finish it off?
How would you be as a patron, as Rory after the tee shot is like, I need you people to move that way, and like, first of all, to have the precision and control, even from not a great lie, like I don't know what that surface is considered that he's hitting off of in that moment, but to have that, and then to have the confidence as a patron to stand there and just let this dude hit a ball right by your face. He's moving people, going, look, I know, like, all I was thinking about was what it's like when I'm playing golf, and it's like, oh, you can hit. I'm like, I cannot hit. Like, there's no way you're gonna hit I'm gonna if I hit. I'm paranoid, like out of my mind. And the same way, if there's somebody behind me, to go stand and watch as he's like, you guys got to clear out, and they moved a little. Like he said, oh, the fans or the patrons are patiently, slowly moving away and clearing the path, whatever. But I was just thinking how scared out of my mind I would be. I guess it's like it goes back to when I was a kid. There was a lady that went to our church that got hit in the head with a golf ball, and it was like a major, major thing. And I'm fearful, but I also think about the precision that it takes. Because what I will say, I don't know if you and I have ever played golf together. Maybe, oh yeah, Bahamas for sure. But every time I'm about to hit, I'm like, everybody pay attention because anything could happen right now. And to think about the precision that it takes to be able to do what these guys do, and also say, all right, this is a little tight. So they move like 10 feet. It was an entire crowd standing exactly where he's about to hit the ball, and he's trying to clear the tree and kind of draw it to the left and whatever. But anything goes wrong, it's a disaster. And that's all I was thinking about was how different these people are from me. Not just the golfers, but the patrons. I'd be scared out of my mind.
Well, I would be scared as the golfer more than the patron. When you look at how they're lined up around the tee box there, I would approach it and I'd put the ball in and be like, guys, listen.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I can keep this, get this downhill here, but I'm not going to lie and say that there isn't at least a 15% chance that this thing's coming off the toes, and someone's face is going to get destroyed. So it's on you at that point.
I think my dad burned it into me when I was a kid that if someone is teeing off, the only safe place to stand is like face to face with them. Be back 10 feet or something, but you're directly, the ball never is going to go straight backwards there at you.
Right.
But behind is no good. Anywhere in front is no good. Even to the left it's bad. The only safe place is directly in line. I guess behind him, directly in line, like on the same plane with him is okay. But that's it. And I've got that burned into my head, and it scares me every time. I just think about Sam Snead. You remember the Sam Snead thing where he's like 100 years old and they had him hit the first shot and he just ricocheted off somebody's face? And I know that's different.
Yes,
he's older,
yeah.
but good God, man. I think about that all the time. I know that's not what you wanted to talk about with the tournament, but sometimes I get to pick the stuff too.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point to point out, and there's not a lot of room on some of those areas. I will point out, a little annoying that here we are. All right, we're at the 18th. This is the end of the tournament. We have a guy who has put it off the tee, has put it into the woods, and has, if he hits that down the fairway, we're not talking about anything because we know that he's, barring something catastrophic, it's fine. He's done the only thing in this situation that could open up the door for a playoff.
Right.
And then he's hitting from the woods, and CBS has absolutely no idea where the ball goes.
Okay,
no
that's
idea.
not me. That's not me because they cut to that shot, and I did not see the ball at all.
No, they didn't. Never showed you where it went, and they didn't show you that the ball ended up in the bunker until Rory walked up to it, and even the announcers are talking like, "Oh, that must be his ball.
It's got his name on it." That's right. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Right.
Because
and I'm like,
yeah,
a million cameras there. This is CBS's whole deal. This is the game for CBS. Outside of the years that they have a Super Bowl, this might be the most promoted sporting event that they have. Like, they don't have to run that much promotion for, hey, NCAA tournament coming up.
Yeah, we know what's next.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everybody will know when brackets show up in your office, and you got to fill it out. This is the thing for a month and a half with the piano music and the yes, sir, the Masters, the traditional, this is it. And they have no camera to show me where the ball goes on 18.
Okay.
With the final group, where are all the other cameras? What are they doing? Can we get a couple over there?
All right, I
and
feel
the same
better.
thing happened with Young's shot.
Right.
His shot coming up.
Right.
No idea where it went. You just see the camera kind of panning around, and it just shows a picture of the green.
Right.
And the two bunkers.
I'm so glad you're pointing this out.
And I'm like, it's the 18th hole at the Masters. This is the final group. What happened to the frickin' balls?
Yeah.
Where are they? Where did the shots go? Were they good shots?
They didn't say
Is
anything.
this a disaster? Did Rory end up in the crowd?
Yeah.
It was very frustrating because the rest of it, I do like they added in those like drone shots overhead.
Yeah.
Where you see the whole fairway in the tee box, and they added in the ball flight.
Yeah,
path.
it's incredible. It's getting as good as the video games.
It's incredible. That's an incredible view to really show you what they're looking at and where it goes. And then we get to 18. It's like we got one camera, man. That's it. Only one camera, and no one has any idea where the ball is.
I'm so glad you pointed this out because I don't watch a ton of golf, but the way the timing worked out, I got home and I was like, whoa. Final round of the Masters is on, and nobody's going to ask. Like, we got home from this full day of basketball stuff. In the car, it's like everybody just wanted to go home and go to sleep. And I did too, but I'm going to turn on TV and do that. I was like, wait a minute. The Masters? And this is perfect. So I don't watch a ton. And because I was down in the basement, like we've got TVs everywhere in this house, and I'm watching on the smallest one we have because I'm in the basement. And I didn't put it on the projector because I don't want to turn off all the lights. So I have it's still decent. You know, it's like a 42-inch TV. But I thought, I should be watching this on one of our good TVs because then I'd see the ball. And it happened with the Rory shot, but then it happened with the next shot right afterward, and I didn't see it. And then I thought, it must be me. Like, because twice they're showing, I mean, of course the ball is going to be in the shot. And then it wasn't there, and I just thought, wow, I suck at this. Maybe if I was watching on a better TV, I would have seen the ball. But I'm glad you pointed out that it's not me. It's not my 51-year-old eyes that are going. It's not that my 42-inch HD TV isn't good enough to watch a couple shots at the Masters. It's that CBS blew it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it was just they didn't have a shot, and then they didn't have any idea where the ball was. No idea. Maybe they're caught a little bit off guard because it's like, well, they're pros. They're going to put it on the green.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but he's
in the
hitting
woods.
A pine straw behind the woods.
Straw. Yeah, and he had to make people move. And like, well, maybe he could just yank it up here and hook. He likes to play that draw. Like, well, okay, but there's a lot of trouble up there too. All right, good. Here's another question. They keep cutting away to some country club in Northern Ireland where everyone is there rooting on Rory, right?
Yes.
I don't know where this is going to go. This whole running thing going in my head, and I didn't write anything down about it, so I don't know how well it's going to come out, but try to follow along with me because it could get rambly, but you're used to that. It's me. The way that they depict it, it's as though all of Northern Ireland loves this guy, and they're rooting for this guy specifically to win this golf tournament, and it's at a country club, so it's all golfy people. But I was thinking about it, like, if we're watching American Idol, and there's someone from Buffalo. Well, just for the sake of argument, you're a Buffalo person. Okay, I know you're in Syracuse, but you're a Buffalo person. And we're watching, and from the start, we're all like, yeah, I hope, let's have the Buffalo kid win. But then the Buffalo kid gets a little bit annoying and does something. And now we're not universally supporting. Like, you're kind of, all right, well, that'd be cool. But you're watching the Olympics, and it's, let's use Tanya Harding. Let's pretend. My point is that I don't think we're ever universally behind anyone in the way that it's depicted in that. Like, we're universally behind a team, but when it comes to individual sports, like, even if that's his home club, he cut somebody off in the parking lot there. He was a jerk to somebody. He failed to tip a caddy. He did somebody there is like, I hate Rory McIlroy. And everyone there is cheering as if it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And I was thinking about the psychology of it. There's no way that there's universal adoration for an individual unless you're talking about, like, you go to a family's house on the day of the NFL draft and this guy goes 4th overall and they all go nuts because they've got a stake in it. But there's no way all those people were that happy. I feel like it was like a cosplay thing, that they were play acting their love for Rory McIlroy. Thoughts?
I didn't think it was necessary. He's already won one.
Right.
So
And it's not cut to his parents or his wife. I mean, they were showing his wife and kid. They had weird names.
It felt a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
For that, I will give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, just because Northern Ireland is, it's like Williamsville. Like, it's a very small place, and I get that nothing comes from there. No one that is known is from there besides him. So I can kind of understand how he has become their Dallas Cowboys in a way, I guess.
Okay. But let's use Williamsville. Now let's use Williamsville. Who has come from Williamsville? Gronk. If Gronk is in some individual thing and then they cut to Williamsville, we're not all universally in love with Rob Gronkowski. I'm glad you brought up Williamsville, right? It's like that. That's kind of the thing. I'm not trying to, rain on your parade. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. There's something about it. It's like, this doesn't feel correct to me. It feels like they're lying.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like when they have those videos of the teams that finally hear their name called for the
NCAA
basketball tournament. Yeah. It's like, I don't need some 16-year-old kid from Northern Ireland's reaction to his shot at 14.
Right. Yeah.
Like, cool. They're watching it together. There's a group of people that gather together and are watching the game. Cool. All right. It feels a little bit, I don't know. Hey, for this Bills game, let's go now live to Orchard Park down the street where there's a barbecue.
Right.
And they're watching the game.
Yeah, or we could just watch the people
just
that are
watching
there.
the game like us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. A little unnecessary. I'm with you on that. Most importantly, and I've been building towards this, and I think that you know where I'm going here because I sent you a picture.
Here's what I don't like. Before you start,
okay,
in case you are going where I think you're going, I want to read you the comment that is most recent on the screen in the YouTube chat during the show. It's from Niagara Grit, a.k.a. Arbo, and it says, "Time for Scott to come up with another food challenge for Brad." That's really what it says on my screen. Now, I don't know if that's what you're about to do, but it sure feels like that's what you're about to do from just your tone. I know your tone.
It's a food challenge adjacent. Okay. I would like to give the biggest possible shout out to the gentleman who positioned himself directly behind the tee box at 16 and was wearing the bright yellow hat that said egg salad. Just egg salad on there.
And the picture you sent, everyone else had the exact same color baby blue on, and then there was just this guy with bright yellow egg salad.
Yeah, and obviously it's a big thing there. They have the pimento cheese sandwiches and the egg salad sandwiches there. So this guy went to the merchandise tent at the Masters, which is the only place you're able to buy Masters gear, is at the course during that week of the Masters. So he goes in there and he says, "I'd like a Masters hat. I'd like a Masters hat." Okay. And there it is, egg salad. Says, that's it. That's it. I'm riding with this till I die. This is it. And then positions himself in a very public spot, directly behind the tee box. Every person that teed off there for the final round, right behind them, bam, you're getting hit with egg salad. So I texted it to you just about how I really respect it. That is a fun thing. Ridiculous? Yes. Is he able to wear that to anything else? I'm not sure. But somebody had to buy the egg salad hat, and I'm glad someone did and positioned themselves there. My question to you is there a food that you would gladly purchase a hat and represent that food? No brands.
Right.
No brands.
Right.
No, I'm not talking Coca-Cola.
No.
I'm talking about a food like just egg salad that you would get on a hat in the Masters font like it was and represent that. and feel good about that, like this guy does for egg salad.
I don't know that there's one that I wouldn't do that for. I mean, like ham and mushrooms are the two things I don't eat.
Haggis.
Haggis is funny. I
Okay.
think egg salad is it's almost the peak, because I have a group text that is exclusively about deviled eggs. There was a meat raffle. This is a year ago. There was a meat raffle, and we were getting together on who's bringing what, because you bring your own food. And I put in the chat, how do you people feel about deviled eggs? Because they are divisive, man. People love them or they hate them. And we've really got, it was a group of 10 of us. And there are, I think, 8 of us that still partake. And I can't believe that I haven't, and no one has yet, put that photo into the chat. Because anytime I see one of the, because it's like people I don't even talk to that often, because it's the guys I talk to. But like, if I get a text from Danielle, like, I know that it's about deviled eggs. If I get a text from Jillian, I know it's about deviled eggs. Like, if it's Tim, if it's Josh, if it's my wife, like, okay. But we are very divided on it. I didn't end up bringing them. I wanted to make them. I'm good at making them. I love them. The people who love them, love them. The people who hate them threaten to not go to the meat raffle. And I can't believe I haven't put that photo in, or just bought the hat and sent it to, one of the people who hates it.
So you're saying you would.
What hat would you put on me?
Eggs.
I would rock. Deviled eggs, but that's too close to egg salad. I'm a big proponent of hot dogs. Pistachios are fun and can be really fun, depending on your location. I'd
like
seafood Newburgh.
I think it would have to be seafood Newburgh.
And I would wear a seafood Newburgh hat,
like a lobster red seafood Newburgh.
Yeah, I think that's the right hat for me, right? I mean, what would you put on?
Or maybe brown. Maybe it should be brown.
Eventually it throws brown. I looked up this.
I think
this
I would
guy.
I would love to get one for our friend John Fuller. It just says cold chicken sandwich
or Toledo hot sauce.
Because you're right, Toledo salsa.
Right.
Hot Toledo hot salsa, something along those lines. Because I know that.
Yeah. Now this violates the name brand thing, but Paul Peck in a Dr. Pepper ribs hat.
Right. Yes. Or no top bun hamburgers.
These are all inside food jokes from 15 years of traveling with UB football, but they're funny. All of them are funny.
So what hat would I put you in? I think it would have to be seafood Newburgh.
Seafood Newburgh is my defining food moment, despite Krispy Kreme challenge, despite pistachio challenge. I think my defining food moment in our several years of UB road trips is my horrifying experience with seafood Newburgh in Atlantis. So that's got to be mine. I don't know that we have a funny, goofy food one for you. Like you haven't had any food adventures that are immediately coming to mind, because I can remember Brian Wolf dropping the milkshake. There's a thing to that.
Right. Yes.
Fuller with the hot sauce. Paul with the ribs. Oh, speaking of Dr. Pepper,
Kubiak had the wasabi peas. That's a funny one.
That's right. Lupicone blue cheese.
Yes.
Blue cheese. That was a thing for a while. Nick Mendoa's vegetables.
Yeah.
Non-meat eating.
I remember going to a delicious steakhouse in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And him just saying, you just bring out mashed potatoes. And I'm like, oh man, bring me out a salad and mashed potatoes. I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry.
What a waste. Absolute waste. I was in 7-Eleven the other day, and I have to think of which one it was, because it wasn't the one near my house. But they
taquitos.
What's that?
Taquitos, right? Don't you eat the 7-Eleven taquitos?
Yeah, those are delicious. Those are great. I introduced them to my son. He now believes in them as well. No, they have a special limited time only Dr. Pepper sausage, like Dr. Pepper roller sausage. And I didn't have my phone in my pocket at the time, so I didn't take a picture of it. But now I have to think of, I guess I could look at my phone at my Google Maps and figure out where I went to 7-Eleven, because it was one off the beaten path. But I didn't want to eat it. It looked terrible, but I wanted Paul to have it, or Paul to not have it. I wanted Paul to order it and then have nobody answer him. and then after 20 minutes, you just leave 7-Eleven.
Right.
For those who don't know, we were in Waco, Texas. It's the home of Dr. Pepper. We went to a barbecue place. The specialty was Dr. Pepper ribs. Paul ordered them. Most of us, I think, ordered them. And we all ate. We were like, Brian Baldinger was there. It was like the whole crew, the Baylor crew and like the whatever it was, CBS our crew.
Yeah.
And everybody
Fox
got
Sports.
their food, and it was Fox. Okay. Everybody loved it. It was awesome. And Peck just never got his food until it was time to leave, and then they were cold, and then we were trying to go, and he probably took them with him, and maybe heated them up in a microwave later or something, but it was a disaster that happened many years ago, and we still talk about it. So that's where that's coming from. Did you see that Vrabel will not speak prior to the draft?
Yeah. Why? I wonder why.
I don't know. Probably just doesn't care who they draft or something.
Yeah. Rossini won't be there covering it either, because now the Athletic's starting to ask the same questions that we were asking on Friday, which is, hey, you got any pictures of your friends being there? The answer to that is probably no.
Right.
So then the whole thing kind of falls apart, and I was interested. I thought that she was under a longer contract. Her contract runs out in August.
Yeah.
So
She's done.
she's already in a tough spot, making it, an even dumber decision, a dumber move there. It's interesting to hear also some of the backstory on that, where apparently the photos were shopped to TMZ first.
Yeah.
And
they
TMZ declined it. But the interesting part of that story was that I guess they were kind of being shopped as, hey, this is the Patriots coach cheating on his wife, and whoever had the photos didn't realize the person he was with was Diana Rossini. And then eventually they got to page 6, and page 6 was like, yeah, okay.
We know her.
We know who that is. That just happens to be a competitor of ours. We will gladly pay you $1,000 for these pictures. Thank you very much.
That's funny.
So it was kind of one of those things where they realized they knew Vrabel. They did not initially, which could be a ruse. There's also some theories out there that that's a private investigator. From one of the either
spouses,
the wife or the spouse, but yeah, she's in a tough spot. He's in an uncomfortable spot, but not one. Like, the Patriots can't make any action on this. Not when, the owner's been in Orchids of Asia. The other guy, the old guy, the Belichick was involved with a 24-year-old. You've got Aaron Hernandez killing people.
Yeah, we can't start now. Diggs is choking people and has
chefs. Eight different baby mamas. It's like, there's not a lot of, you can't really lean on morality.
Christian Barmore too. Didn't Barmore have something right near the end of the season?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What do you feel? How do you feel? Ooh, somebody just wrote in hush puppy hat. I do believe in hush puppies.
Hush puppies. Hush puppies is
hush
good.
Puppies are good, but that might imply
could be could be the shoes.
The shoes,
right?
yeah.
Could imply the shoes, which also is kind of funny.
It is
to see you rock a hush puppy hat, and then you make people really think like, all right, is that the shoe?
This guy? Yeah, it's really weird if he's in either one of them. Well, look at the size of them. It's probably the fried.
This guy digs those shoes.
It's probably the fried ball of dough.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're just repping a hat that says Doc Martin,
right,
or boat shoes.
Not a brand, just boat shoes.
Right, has to be boat shoes. Loafers.
How do you feel about
loafer?
So the draft is coming up. How do you feel about Mel Kiper? Because I have a specific Mel Kiper complaint right now. But if he's your boy, I don't want to mess with him. Is he your boy?
No, I think he's fascinating in the fact that
I would watch a documentary about him.
He has built the modern draft.
Yeah.
I mean, more than anybody else. I think he realized what it was going to be before ESPN and the NFL did. And then, he's had a lot of moments. He's a fascinating person off of that. Like, he likes pizza, but doesn't eat the cheese type of thing. Like, he's got weird food stuff where he eats a piece of pumpkin pie every day, I believe. Of
Really?
his life. Yeah.
So he'd wear a pumpkin pie hat.
He's got the thing where he doesn't go to the bathroom during the draft coverage. Like he just, once the draft is open, he doesn't go to the bathroom again until the draft closes. Like he's got a bunch of those little quirks that make him really interesting. And then, he's got great moments on TV where he is not afraid to throw out his opinion, despite the fact that he really has no more information or no more right to over the last 35, 40 years than any other pundit would. But he has become kind of the guy, and, thinking specifically back to when he's on ESPN opposite of the Baltimore Colts general manager, and the Colts guy tries to call him out, and I think a lot of guys would probably laugh or back down from that, and instead he stepped up and was like, yeah, well, that's why you're drafting third every year. and kind of made that a moment. So, yeah, I as far as his opinion, I don't take it as gospel. But I do find him as an interesting person.
All right, well, listen to this. And I don't know if you've seen this. There's a piece at ESPN.com where it's about very specific things. It's not just best pass rusher. It's best, linebacker covering a tight end. Best nickel in this situation. It's very specific things. One of the superlatives, I guess you would call them. One of them for this year's draft is best fumble forcer.
Okay. I know a guy that should get that.
Is it the one who set the record for most forced, called his shot, said he was going to pass Khalil Mack and then do that for the UB Bulls? Because I thought, wow, look at this. Like, Red Murdoch might not come up in anything else that Mel Kiper writes because he's just not, on the radar in the same way that some of these other guys are. But if he's going best fumble forcer, hey, he found him. Like, he found a way to talk about Red Murdoch. No, Jacob Rodriguez, Texas Tech, had 7 forced fumbles in 2025, including a touchdown. And I do respect. He puts a ton of effort into it, and he knows a lot, and he's not always right, but who can be? I get it. But to not have Red Murdoch at least creep his way into, he should be the last 2 words of the description about this other guy that you're calling the best fumble forcer in college football. It should be like, side note, the record was actually set by UB linebacker Red Murdoch. And just add that. But it's not in there, and that made me mad.
Yeah, you should be mad.
Thank you.
You should be very mad about that.
Well, it seemed like such a specific thing.
Fumble forcer, you should be talking about the guy that's forced the most fumbles in the history of college football.
Or at least mention him, even if you don't think he's up to Jacob Rodriguez's ability. Red should have at least been mentioned there. It just felt like such a specific thing. When you're like you're watching an award show, like, this is a guy who did this, and you're like, oh, it's my guy. They're talking about my guy. Clear. And then it's not about your guy at all. It's about somebody else. Like, that's how I felt. Made me sad and mad.
Should we quickly, because next time we speak will probably be pretty first-round draft heavy, should we talk about the fact that I have now caught up to you with the 2 documentaries?
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
Netflix shows.
That's right. Yes. Thank you. I asked you to watch them both, and you did. So it was
mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Anal Bead Chess and Lamar Odom.
Right. It was called Chessmates. Because I guess you could call it that. Which did you prefer?
I like the chess one better.
Me too. So let's start with that. All right.
Okay.
So the chess one was fascinating to me because, as I said when I brought it up on Friday, this series, this Untold, it just leaves me wanting more way too often. It's like they are excellent at picking the topics that I want to hear about. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I don't know that you taught me anything because you're talking about a story that I cared about when it was happening. And then I kind of forgot about it. You bring it up like, oh, yeah, let's revisit that. And it often doesn't give me anything new. And this was entirely new because I had never heard either of these guys speak, whether it was Carlson, who is the top guy, or what's his name? It's foreign. It's like
Hans
Niemann.
Hans Niemann. Niemann is the American who just sounds European. And I don't know, like in the whole thing, it just sounded like there's a guy named Magnus and there's a guy named Hans, and they're both foreign, and this is kind of weird, and they're probably both in on hyping this thing up. But then you get through it, and it's like, no, there's a guy who's super serious, and then there's a guy who has been dirty at times, and that comes up, and that allows them to accuse him of it, and you're pretty sure that he's guilty, but you're not 100% positive, and it kept kind of going back and forth, and I loved that about it, that at the end, I'm not positive what I think. Like, I think that dude is dirty, but I definitely don't think anal beads are involved. I think that's just a product of the internet because that's how things go with conspiracies and theories, and people just run with it. But I thought it spoke to, have you seen Marty Supreme yet?
No.
Okay. Like Marty Supreme, it reminded me that I don't care if the sport is a sport I actually care about or the game is a game I actually care about. If this guy really wants to be the best in the world at something, and then this other guy really wants to be the best in the world at something, it's fascinating to watch them battling, whether they're speed skaters or ping pong players or poker players or chess players or whatever. Like, the sport doesn't matter if you can build the film correctly. And I think they built it tremendously in that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think they did a good job building towards kind of where Hans Niemann came from. Basically a bit of an internet troll who was, outlandish in what he did and how he played chess. And they did a really good job of kind of explaining everything and explaining how special Carlsen is, like how good he is. And I like the fact that it took until the accusations have been made and people start talking about it. Did they then reveal, like, by the way, chess.com did register, had an algorithm that did register the fact that he was cheating.
And they were hiding
some of these, and on some of these earlier games, and did confront him about it. So that was something that I did not know, where all of a sudden I'm thinking, I came into the show thinking, all right, here is a guy that always wins and never came up against anybody that could beat him. And somebody finally got him once, and it's sour grapes. And I left it thinking, all right, now I understand why this guy was pissed. Like, I get it. It's not just listen, no one can beat me. And this guy, if he did, it had to be fake. It wasn't that. Because it almost felt like, because there was the two matchups. Like, he got him the first time down there in Miami.
Yep.
And it almost felt like Carlsen was like,
what
all
just
right,
happened?
Any given Sunday, something happened and he got the better of me. It was the second time where now he's going into it saying Carlsen's approaching that match as I'm not going to get suckered again. I'm coming into this going to be fully prepared. And he comes into this like with this obscure opening, and somehow Niemann has it perfectly, countered and, everything else. So now I understand the full context of where
Right.
Carlsen is coming from. And even hearing some of the other contemporaries be like, listen, something is going on, because he can't explain what happened in the game other than, just happened to study this opening. Right,
Chess speaks for itself.
Right. The chess speaks for itself.
He just walks down the hallway. That was after the first one, I think, but it still was awesome.
And I think the other thing that they did a nice job of, I think unintentionally, which they probably could have gone a little bit deeper on, but Niemann several times in his interviews, reference the amount and the level of which he was really bullied in school. And that to me is the final through piece, which is, here's a kid that was good at chess that was made fun of constantly, and finally got some notoriety and determined himself that I don't care if it's cheating or not. I'm going to show people that I'm the best. and kind of has let it corrupt his entire being, the entire way that he acts. If you look at it through that prism, of course this is the way he acts. Of course this is what he does.
Yeah.
Because he is really, really affected by whatever happened in school. Again, they didn't give specifics, but he references it independently himself several times. And through that prism, I feel like, okay, I can see how somebody would put anal beads. Like, yeah, maybe it wasn't anal beads. Maybe it was he had something on his chest, or something
Right.
like what the Astros
Altuve
used,
style.
or,
Exactly. Sure.
yeah, right.
But it
But
doesn't
I
seem
can
like
see how
he's
that
mostly
happens.
doesn't seem like he's more bothered by the fact that it's anal beads than he is by the fact that he's
Yes,
cheating. Like, he
yes.
concedes the cheating early. He doesn't concede it late. But the thing he's bothered by is like that they're talking about he won because of anal beads, electronic anal beads. And that was interesting. The other thing that I didn't think of this until you were talking about the lack of explanation. The lack of explanation for how did you just do that? And this ties to what I was saying about, whether it's ping pong or it's pole vaulting, whatever the sport is. If two are competing and they both really care and something happens, I'm interested in it. We play trivia. John Fuller, Dan Cave, and I, and my kids actually, play trivia every Tuesday night. And there's a team that very clearly, like, if you talk to them, they don't know anything at all, but they get the answers right all the time. And then we started noticing that the waitress would go back into the kitchen and then come back over to them, and then they'd turn in their answer and they'd get things right. And it always felt like, what are you doing? Like, how is this possible? So it gets to one question, and you'll appreciate this because you'll get it too. This has happened at least twice now where we knew something specifically because of a UB trip that we had been on. So there was once where there was a photo. I was like, what is this location? And I was like, I have that picture in my phone. That's West Point. Like, I know where the river bends, where they took out the British ships. Like, I know this. No one else would know this. And I think we were probably the only ones who got it right. Cool. But then there was one another time that asked, and it's not multiple choice. This is like right in the answer. And the question was asked, and you'll get this very easily, in addition to the city of New Orleans, what other U.S. city claims to be the birthplace of Mardi Gras?
Right. Dollar General Bowl.
Dollar General Bowl, Mobile, Alabama. We went to a Mardi Gras parade. We watched Paul Peck get hit in the head with moon pies. Like, that happened. We went to it. I had never heard of Mobile and Mardi Gras together at all, but we happened to spend 4 days there, and so we knew the answer. We're like, this is great. We've got this thing wrapped up. And the only other people in the entire place who knew the answer were the people that we knew were cheating. And they had talked to the waitress just before turning in their answer, and I called them on it. It wasn't my proudest moment, but I started with the waitress, and I went over. I was like, could you stop giving them answers? She's like, what? I'm like, you clearly go back into the kitchen and get answers, and you come back over here and give them to them. You didn't know. They didn't know that. She's like, I don't go into the kitchen. I'm like, okay, I don't get answers from the kitchen. So she already is confessing to the fact that she does share information with them. Now, I have seen playing trivia where a waitress is friendly and just happens to be at your table when a question comes up and gets involved in the conversation. And that's one thing, and I'll let that slide. But this is clearly, they have a system where she's going away. She's either looking on a phone or asking somebody in the back and then coming back out. And I said, you were in the kitchen, then you came back out. She's like, I wasn't in the kitchen. And I said, I know, we know, multiple people at our table have been to Mardi Gras in Mobile, Alabama. That's how we know the answer. How do you know the answer? And she said, I used to watch Jeopardy a lot with my mom. And that was her. That was her. And that to me is like Neiman's answer to how did you do it? It's like, well, I looked it up. I just happened to, I got lucky. I just was reading about that today. And I was fine. That's how I did it. But it just reminded me of that. And that still frustrates me. I still don't like that waitress.
Well, yeah, no, that would be frustrating. And I that's kind of what the rest of the chess world was kind of saying in that situation. if you look at it from the anal bead perspective, that could
Wait.
be a reason why his post-match interviews are so short.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Where
I
they
really
ask
gotta
him
go.
about it, and he's like, "Chess speaks for itself. Gotta go. I gotta get this bead
I got
out.
something I gotta
I got
take
these
care of.
beads of it.
I gotta get back to my room real quick. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
All
So
right.
that was
So
was good.
I highly recommend that. I think it was very good. And then
Howard, 15 minutes, good.
yeah, and then the same night, I watched the Life and Death of Lamar Odom, and I like that one too. Yeah, I like the chess one better. And you said you did as well. You had problems with the Odom one, but it was still good, right? Like it was still interesting and worth your time.
Right. No, yeah, it's for sure interesting. I knew, he goes to a brothel and then just gets all jacked up, jacks himself up on gas station boner pills and regular drug and hard drugs, and it becomes a whole thing, and then he ends up in a coma. And I knew all that. I did not know about his young kid dying, and him growing up and his parents' situation. There's a lot of other subtext that kind of explains how he ends up in the situation he did. But there's a lot there that's missing in the story. I feel like they skip over, like he was at the Knicks for a little bit. There was, what about when Kobe died? Because obviously he cares about Kobe if he talks about him in the same sentence as Allah and
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whatever God you worship, Allah, Jesus Christ, Kobe.
Right. So, like, what happens there? They don't really go, like, is he still using drugs? Is he still in drugs? Like, what has that recovery process been like if he is off drugs? When did he actually stop using drugs? Because it wasn't after the coma.
No.
He woke up from the coma and almost immediately was smoking crack, which was a hilarious story.
I thought your best question after the movie you texted me was, what does he do all day? That would have been fascinating,
How
too.
does he have money?
What is he up to?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there unanswered. There's a good portion of that movie or documentary where it feels like it's, can you believe how nice Khloe Kardashian is?
Right.
And that feels icky because
that can't be true.
That's phony as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're just making more content for themselves. That's why she was still involved with Lamar. Like, it was content.
Yeah.
It wasn't her genuinely care. Like, I don't know that.
Well, that's kind of the through line between both.
Like,
that's kind of the through line between both of them. Is like Neiman comes up as this. He's a streamer, and he decides to be like the wild, the Phil Hellmuth. If you don't know poker, that doesn't work. But like the bad boy of poker, he decides to take on that persona, which is what leads to all of this. And it's to generate content because that's what people think they have to do. Everything has to be on camera. I'm saying this as I'm on a camera, but I like to think of this as slightly different because I'm doing an actual show. But just screaming while playing chess is how he became famous and elevated himself to that point. And then Lamar and Khloe, that's the whole thing was about just getting everything on TV. Let's get married. Let's put it on television. This is going to be great. But all of it is just the kind of how gross everything is with social media is like the through line on the two of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. But it also seems like maybe I'm misremembering on the Odom thing, but a lot of times where there's a documentary where somebody starts to dive into drugs, there's like that first moment where they can sit down and be like, listen, I took a hit of crack and I knew that this was going to be the thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Or a story behind that. And it was just kind of all of a sudden he was upset, and then he would he was out late. He was out late one night, and then all of a sudden a girl called me and said, you got to come pick up your husband because he's on crack. Like, there wasn't really that. It was just kind of sudden in the story, where it wasn't like I did a little bit of this, then that little bit of that, and I think it was very there wasn't a lot of discussion about the fact, like, the level of pathology that you have to have as a human being. Lamar Odom comes out of the coma, has to relearn to walk and talk and get everything going again. And in the process, decides that whenever Kardashian is around, he's going to fake that he's much worse than he actually is so that he can keep milking her for attention and money and be taken care of by her.
Yeah.
And then when she leaves, he's going to go back to smoking crack. And he does until she shows up when he doesn't expect her, and she walks in on him smoking crack to find out that he's actually fairly normal. Like, it's just kind of brushed over.
Right.
This is a guy that gets out of a coma and is like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake that I'm
I'm gonna hang
really
on to
messed
this.
up from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. You know what I'm going to do? Pretend like I'm, for lack of a better word, crack retarded
Yeah.
permanently. And then she busts him. The level of what has to happen in your mind to do that was just kind of brushed over and laughed about. But it's like, whoa, this guy is faking how bad he's being affected by a coma.
Yeah.
So that a Kardashian can take care of it. I don't know. Again, that could have, I don't know if it needed to be 2 hours.
It was a little long.
Or if it needed to be,
7 hours. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it needed to be edited better and different things focused on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
it was still overall entertaining.
Yeah, still worth
We
time.
still learned a lot.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was-
still the guy with the crazy hair who was doing social media for the cat house and then ends up involved in figuring out a way to carry out Lamar Odom's lifeless body wrapped up in a sheet. He's a character.
Yeah, and also
It
it's
was
not just
entertaining.
it's not just a like a random location, like a random brothel. It's one that was featured on HBO. You know, like that's a part of it
it's
too.
one
Like,
of
everything here is
it's one of
famous.
it's the brothel that's known in the United States.
Right. That and Bunny
Like,
Ranch.
I don't
right?
know of any of it.
Bunny Ranch.
Well, Bunny Ranch, but that's the same owner.
But the phrase
Like,
I'm
those-
saying
that's the
the
same
two
family.
phrases that you can put out there are Bunny Ranch and Cat House, and like, yeah, okay, I know what that is because I've
Right.
watched HBO before. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, they're just generic. You can't have that. You wear a
I think
hat to the Masters that just said brothel.
right. I think it was funny how Lamar Odom sent some of his boys went and was like, hey, he came here with a backpack. And we're here to get the backpack because we're sure that you guys don't want that publicity. And then the guy's like, you don't know anything about what's happening here. We would love for the news to get out that there's a backpack full of drugs here. Like that's that's the goal.
Yeah.
Is we're eventually going to say there's a backpack full of drugs here. So you don't have to worry about it. We got it. It was entertaining, but still, of the two, the chess is the way to go.
Good enough. All right, man. Let's watch the Sabres clinch the East tonight. They need a little help, but win their game, and Tampa doesn't get 2 points, and we're good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. I will talk to you again on Friday. Thanks, Scott.
All right.
All
See
right,
ya.
later. There's Scott Wilson. Variety of topics discussed with our man Scott Wilson today. Do I have anything else that I didn't write down? Bieber at Coachella. Justin Bieber played headline Coachella, like the big headliner. They do 3 nights, and like the big headliner is him. And he did, if you saw, was it the Grammys recently? Yeah, the Grammys, where he came out. It was like a special performance from Justin Bieber, and he had a hood on, and he might have been in underwear. I don't know. It was just a weird vibe, and it was barely a song. It was just kind of mumbly and weird and whatever. And I guess that's the kind of music he's been putting out lately. But there's this whole thing about how people are disappointed that Justin Bieber didn't do like a full-on Justin Bieber show at Coachella. But if you're going to Coachella, I wouldn't imagine you would want to see Justin Bieber. It's like the opposite. I know they do a variety of different things, but I don't know. I don't know who expected Coachella to be headlined by pop version of Justin Bieber from 15 years ago. It seems like if he was willing to play there and they were willing to have him there, then it wouldn't have been the kind of concert that would have happened 15 years ago when Coachella was like the rebellion against music like that. So that just seemed weird to me. I don't totally understand that story. That's all. That's all I had left written down. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you for listening, watching, sharing, subscribing, all the stuff. Episode 291 of Riter Radio. I'm going to go buy a really expensive baseball bat. That's what I'm going to do today. And then hopefully the weather is okay, because there's an outdoor practice and an indoor practice. 2 different kids, 2 different times. And then Sabres game at 8:30. They take on the Blackhawks. Go Sabres. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 10 on Riter Radio.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
I don't know. Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?